All right, we're live. Well,
Are we live?
we're not live. We're recording.
We're live.
We're good to go.
Another episode of Pros with Colin podcast. Got my two buddies here today. Kurt Langtot.
How's it going?
First episode was a huge hit. And we got the man, the myth, the legend. Clap it up for Josh Platts. Kurt, yeah.
Golf club?
Live and in person.
Love golf. Ooh, snaps.
Yeah, I got a snap. Pros with Colin podcast. Episode number 2. We got cool people on today. Josh Platts is the man behind everything at Aurelius CrossFit. Literally. From the ground up.
Everything technical.
And everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick and I just show up. Now I'm coach. You do all the other stuff.
I'm a labor guy. You tell me what to do. I'll drill holes in the cement for the rig. I'll do that.
I'm a bring you coffee and food guy.
Those are both important people to be.
Thank
Very
you.
important. Platts, in all seriousness, is one of the better humans to know. So if you guys know him, you're better off for sure. I'm sure you can attest to that.
100%,
Most
yep.
people will. We're super fortunate to have Josh Platts here at Aurelius, so I figured it'd be cool to help him show his face a little bit and the man behind that, all the scenes and everything we do here. Definitely thanks to Josh Platts here. So wanted to get him on, just have some conversations. He's also a member, so he does do CrossFit here. How long have you been doing CrossFit?
Let's see. I started June of 2018, so
A couple months after we
Yep.
opened up.
so
What were
that
you doing
was
for those 5 months?
Writing on a chalkboard.
it was very
Really dim lights.
it was very
No music. We didn't have any music.
everybody.
Playing out of like a little small Bluetooth speaker. What else did we do for those 5 months?
Yeah.
It was rough.
It was very low tech when I showed up.
It was like we were from the Stone Age.
I couldn't handle it for very long.
It switched quick.
Day one, he walks in. He's like, "No, we gotta fix this. I'll do it for free."
Yeah. Yeah, it was low tech. I I just kind of looked around and decided there's a couple things that need upgraded here. So,
A couple things, yeah.
you
So June of 2018, so just
Yep.
over the 4-year mark. So not too long after Aurelius was open, so that's pretty cool. Have you been interested in fitness your whole life? I mean,
no. So
yeah,
I'm one of those guys who is, I would say, your average Joe.
yeah, and this
So-
is kind of like a good thing to have. Someone
Yep.
who is just one of the regular members here, doesn't compete or take training seriously, but
Oh, he competes second at the latest
true.
competition.
Hey, who was your partner?
That was Mr. Martinzik.
Shout out Justin Martinsic. Yeah.
Mhm.
Best calves in the gym.
Yeah,
Yep.
seriously though. And I gotta start riding some bikes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
So I prior to CrossFit, I was when my son was born, I did Insanity in the basement.
I did some insanity.
Like a lot of people back in those days, and I would say I lost about 20 pounds doing it. I did the straight, legit Insanity, printed out the little instruction book and hung it on the wall poster type thing, and pretty much never missed a day for those, I think it was 2 months, maybe 3. It was 90 days maybe, I can't remember. So 90 days of Insanity, lost around 18 pounds, and that was when I was 33. So from 33 to, let's see, 2018 would have been 38. So for those 5 years, I probably did just like Planet Fitness, just a handful of things. But I didn't play any sports in high school. I didn't ever lift a weight until I was, I'd say 35, I would say. So I didn't legit start working out till I was 33, 35.
Okay.
So 42 now, shout out to those guys over 40. You can do it.
Best shape of your life.
So when I was 38, I was probably in the best shape of my life, I would say. So, and then about a year ago, I sprained my ankle, which kind of set me back a bit. So still not 100%. It's, every day's starts with stretching and, just making sure that I can move. But other than that, I tell everybody I'm the king of modifying. So, my motto is work out today so that you can work out tomorrow. So
that's great.
It's one of the best models.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's I think a lot of people are going to relate to this, which is super cool, and why Kurt and myself love CrossFit. For people like you, you're a full-time dad, 4 kids, so pretty busy there. You have a pretty intense job. You're traveling a lot. You've been sales for a while, so you're always traveling and doing that, and then you still manage to find time to come to the gym when you can. Still manage to find time to help anyone who needs help with anything here or outside the gym.
Yep,
So,
one of my other mottos.
yeah, and I guess that's pretty much why
Great
we
mottos.
get along so well. Why we're coaches. We love helping and serving others. You obviously are the pinnacle of that for sure. But that's why I think it's pretty cool for people to see someone who isn't necessarily a Kurt or myself where we train CrossFit. You just
Correct.
do CrossFit, which is also one of the testaments to CrossFit. It's a lifestyle. Like you said earlier, you modify everything, modify the king of modifying, which is literally what CrossFit is. If you can't do a movement, there's something else you can do that's a little bit more specified for what your capabilities are, and you still get the same stimulus of the workout. It's not what you see on TV. We
Right.
touched on that in the first episode where you see people flying everywhere. I mean, that's your 1% of 1%. It's like the Olympians of CrossFit, essentially. Which is why it's cool, and people can't really, they see that, and then that's why CrossFit gets a bad rap. I think it's super intimidating for people, but this is the whole basis behind this podcast, is to have people like you who just do CrossFit and enjoy everything that CrossFit brings to the table.
Right.
We try and schedule like gym outings or get-togethers. At least once a month we try. A little busy for everyone. It's tough to get everyone riled in, especially during the school year and stuff, but that's just another thing that CrossFit brings to the table as well. So the community aspect, obviously we touched on that, but getting together outside the gym, bonding outside of fitness. We don't live in the gym, but we like to get along with everyone that does come to the gym. So that's why I wanted to touch on that, because I think it's super important for people to relate to you as a person, but also see like your fitness journey. You didn't start working out seriously till, like you said, 33 years old.
Right.
I mean, Kurt and I, different. We've been doing stuff our whole life, so that's just why CrossFit's inclusion of everyone is super cool.
Right.
Did you want to ask him any questions on so far?
Yeah.
And
So the main one I wanted to ask you about is how's it been modifying with your ankle injury? Because that's just it's a big thing for people when something that they get injured, that they struggle modifying and they get frustrated because they can't do something and
Yep.
stuff. So how's that been for you in that past year?
I would say initially it was super frustrating.
I remember that, man. You were out for a few months.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't even
Legit.
do
This is
This is
anything.
the
Couldn't do
craziest
anything.
ankle injury
Yeah.
of all time. It is. It really
It was
is.
a tough
I mean, last August, so end of last August, so I'm just over a year, and it's still not correct. I mean, and I've had it x-rayed, I've had it, I mean, everything. Everybody's looked at it. It was just a bad sprain, but it folded 90 degrees. I mean, it was crazy.
box jump.
Yeah.
Gives me
Box
chills.
jump Saturday.
Box jump, yeah.
Yep. My buddy Jeremy, so.
Jerry Bear.
But yeah, I mean, it's at first it was super frustrating because I couldn't go all out. I'd say prior to that ankle injury, pretty much whatever it said on the board, I pretty much did. Like except for maybe the RX weight, if it was just too much for me or whatever, I wouldn't do it. But for the most part, anything that was on the board, I just did it. But after the ankle injury, I pretty much had to start. That's when I really started to modify stuff, especially things that require, either jumping or solid stability, like doing snatches or cleans and things like that. Because I couldn't rely on the ankle, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to further hurt it, and I also didn't want to, hurt something else. So that's when I really started to just modify it, and I just kind of had to get okay with it because, if you don't, you're just going to get more hurt, and that's never good, because then you can't do anything. So
Correct.
modify it today, that way you can come back tomorrow,
Perfect.
So,
Perfect. Everyone needs to hear that.
yeah.
That
So
kinda-
it's, don't worry about, if it says RX and you're just not confident with whatever it says, who cares? Just keep working. Like as long as I get a good sweat in and I'm not sitting at home doing nothing, like that's what counts, right?
Absolutely.
So at first, super frustrating, but then just kind of had to just keep working on it, and then lots of stretching. I drive a lot for work. Put 40,000 miles on my car in the last year, so I'm in the car a lot, and luckily it was my left foot. So I was able to spend the better part of that year as I'm driving those 40,000 miles. I'm stretching it the whole time, So whole time I'm just doing lots of stretches. Even in the morning when I get here, I'm not really one to do the exact warm up that's up on the board, So I'm not a good model, student as far as that goes. But
we have a few of those.
I spend, I'd say the first 5 minutes of the warm up just stretching my leg, stretching my ankle, stretching my calves, doing those kinds of things, just to make sure that whenever I get into the workout, I'm not going to actually do something that's going to, harm me. And then when I get home, I do more stretching. So, I think stretching is important. It's kind of one of those overlooked things, I think, by most people because it's time consuming and you don't feel like you're working, but you are.
Not sexy.
Yeah. So do the stretch. It's worth it. It's meaningful, But yeah, I would say that's the story of the ankle. So, but definitely put me out for a good 90 days, if not longer.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. It was in the back room.
Yeah.
It was Partner Saturday. So
yep.
You're in
Partner Saturday.
I actually wasn't here. And then you played paintball on it the next week.
That's right. Next weekend we play paintball.
Priorities. So.
Yeah. Oh,
well, I mean, I kind of was the coordinator of it, so I didn't want to not show up. So
another testament to Josh Platts,
Show up and still play.
Yeah.
I was in pain.
Worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. That was a good time.
I think you still shot me. And you couldn't even
I did.
I
think I shot you quite a few times.
My strategy was not the best. I'm like, I'll just run up, see what happens. I was out.
He's got 1 foot. He won't be able to do it.
I was out in the first minute, every time. I'm like, where are these people? Am I on the right course?
Josh Platts.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Oh, that's a really good question, though. As far as someone who is nursing an injury, what can they do to still be in the gym?
Yeah.
What can they do to modify that they're still here doing the work? They might not be doing exactly the same thing.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You come and you show up, you do what you can. It's better than not doing anything. That's when you start to see people like, oh, I hurt my injury, so then they just throw away the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, however long it takes.
Yep.
So it's challenging. It's mental for sure. You have to kind of understand that. But just keep showing up, and I can assure that we all agree that it'll get better as you keep coming. It's worse to not do anything.
Well, that and the habit that you create of whatever you decide you're going to come to the gym 3, 4, 5 days a week, whatever it is, you have that injury, and that's when you stop, you break your habit, And for me, the habit got broken really quickly because I couldn't, that first week I could barely walk, and then I really couldn't do much. And then the habit got broken, right? So it took me like a month to get back into a habit of some sort. And even when I started coming back, I wasn't doing anything that required me to, risk my ankle further getting injured. I was doing pretty much like strict press and pull-ups and push-ups and, things that were really solid that were not going to be any kind of, ankle rotation of any kind, So, but I was here doing something, and I maybe wasn't breaking that sweat that I would have, prior to the ankle injury. But to me, it was more about keeping the habit of making sure that I was fitting it into my day, and just coming to see my friends, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would say 90% of my friends are here, every day.
Yeah.
So, that's the other thing. So, and I travel for work, and when I travel for work, most of the time I'm alone, right? I go see a client in Philadelphia, and then, I'm by myself for the night or the day or whatever it is, So, coming here, the social aspect of it is, for me, it's 75% of why I come, So, which I think is probably true for most, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I mean, I would say so. Definitely, yeah. I mean, we touched on it. I mean, several points we touched on last episode. We'll just cover that one. The community aspect, when you don't come, you miss people here.
Right.
You become good friends with people. I mean, that's pretty much like your work people. You see them every day, or however often you come, so you just become close just naturally because you're with them so much. Super important though to touch on that because I mean breaking that habit, that routine, I'm sure everyone could agree with. They're mostly structured, mostly routine.
Once you get bit by that lazy bug.
Yeah. Lazy bug. Lazy bug.
Takes a hold of you.
Yeah,
Yep.
seriously.
I'm sure most people would agree with that. Whenever their routine gets messed up in some way, they are definitely frazzled, for lack of a better word, or don't know what to do or like how to respond.
Yep.
That's part of life in general. What are you gonna do when stuff doesn't go the way you are accustomed to it going? But that's super important as like a mental thing. Like you had to not overcome your physical limitations with your ankle, but you're like, my mental, I need to still go, or else like it won't be good.
Right.
Just like spiraling out of control. It's what you want to avoid. There are setbacks all the time. I mean, you can't really avoid them, but it's cool to see from a perspective of someone who isn't as intentional of training CrossFit. Just it's part of their fitness and feeling good, moving well. I mean, it's kind of a, I guess you could say, ironic that you're feeling good, but you also injure yourself doing CrossFit, but you can injure yourself doing anything.
That's right.
In life.
Yep.
And imagine if you didn't do anything of strength training, how long you might have broke your ankle. Like,
right.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like you're coming to the gym, you're probably stronger that your ankle could, I mean, it set you back a lot, but it could have been way worse.
Yep.
If you don't do anything in life.
And
Right.
the recovery could have been way harder too if you did it in a different atmosphere or something like that. It was like a post that I read the other day was how sometimes people blame CrossFit or when they start fitness for like certain injuries, but it's actually those were set in because you haven't been doing anything for this X amount of time. Now you strengthen up your body and now you're moving. So you're gonna realize certain things aren't. Those were weaknesses in your body, and you're exposing them.
Right.
From just sitting down, you're obviously not gonna expose anything, but you are getting so unhealthy that if you do go do something wrong and something random happens outside of your house from sitting down, that you're just gonna go down a huge decline of hill. As in now you're on this side of fitness, you had a setback. All right, so that setback's still in the middle, so you're still healthy. As in if you were just healthy, not fit, and then you get injured, now you're sick. All right, so now you're going down a very bad path. So get yourself ahead on this side, all right, and then if you get a setback, you're still just in the middle, and you just got to work your way back instead of working your way back all the way from like the sickness standpoint. It's just horrible.
That was fire.
Thanks. Hopefully you got to watch to see my hands on that one.
Some people are listening, so
you're on
Kurt's
Spotify.
using hand motions. In
Hand
case you
motions.
didn't
You're
see
here. If you're listening, he's here and he's here. You got to figure out where that is.
Yeah,
Just go to YouTube.
DM me or something like that. I'll draw it up for you pretty easy. I'm real artistic.
We'll include a sketch, so that we'll send it out to everybody.
Go to Sprouts. Shameless plug.
I'll show you there.
That's going to be a
Buy some food.
podcast regular. Hey, Sprouts.
Hey, it's our
nothing
only-
else.
Free fountain drink if you show up.
You mentioned Kurt's name.
Yeah, exactly.
No refills. No
If my
refills.
daughter's
25
working,
cents for refill.
if my daughter's working, you got to throw an extra tip in the jar.
Okay,
Okay.
exactly.
Respect
Extra
that.
fiber in there.
Respect that. Yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, no. That was beautifully explained for sure. Like how we got on that topic. The gym is also there to prevent you from having injuries when you don't do anything. So that's a big part of a lifestyle part of CrossFit. So this is a super cool topic to get into because it differentiates our style of mindset. Like we incorporate that as well. Like I very much have it from like a lifestyle point of view. But I also like to work really hard and compete and do all these things that CrossFit provides. But it's also highlighting someone like yourself who you do CrossFit just for the healthy reasons, to stay fit, to stay healthy, to be able to do things that everyday people want to do.
Yep.
The gym helps you gain that exposure where you don't have to hurt yourself, or you try and reduce the probability of that happening. So that was just a testament to what Kurt was trying to explain, how CrossFit is part of that. And fitness in general, for sure. Like, I'm not trying to just, CrossFit's the only one that does that. Definitely overall, but that's a big part of CrossFit, is incorporating that into like a lifestyle meaning. So we touched on that in the first episode, where in the manual it will talk about all these things like scaling and modifying and doing all these things for the average Joe, as you proclaim. And that's just like a cool thing for people to relate to, I think, like very much so. A lot of people here, I would imagine, are that. So we have a lot of parents who are super busy with kid schedules, and people work, and a lot of people just come just to have that community aspect, but also get a good sweat and get fit and be better off overall in the long run. So that was, I mean, the whole basis of having you on the show, other than you're the man behind the scenes of doing everything here, which we greatly appreciate, but you're also...
That's the reason they can listen to us right now.
There would be no Pros with Con without Josh Platts. So.
No, we'd be working off of our iPhone sitting in the middle of the table. Yep.
Exactly,
yeah.
It's all good.
I wouldn't know anything else to do.
So not only is he an avid CrossFitter, tech guy, knows the ins and outs of everything in the gym. And we can build a rig pretty cool. All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hasn't fallen over yet, so I mean we must have done something correct. So
yeah.
And we've had some days where some people are really cranking on that thing.
20 people on it, and they're flying around.
All in the different directions at the same time. I was really nervous the one day, so but still there.
Yeah, we would never even have that if you didn't come to CrossFit 4 years ago or whenever that was. So I mean, that's just how it likes to come full circle with the people and relationships you build within the gym and CrossFit, and just having people like myself who are coaches who see a lot of people every day, like yourself who coach a lot. Obviously, business owners, you know everybody. But they're just super fortunate to have some people in the gym in our lives, and Josh Platts is definitely one of them. So we're better off for it.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool to have that here, though. Just switching gears real quick. Your kids. Do your kids love to do things? I know some of them in that age are a little bit lazy. Not saying your kids, just kids in general.
I mean, I think teenagers just in general can get lazy.
Yeah. I just know Harrison's like, he's doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely doing stuff.
Harrison's pretty much, throw a sport at him, he's all in. You know, golf, basketball, baseball.
Golf.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean,
he's better than me.
He's better than me. I mean, he's so yeah, he's definitely into sports. My youngest, Evelyn, she's just a busy bee around the neighborhood, so she's active.
Which is the most important thing,
I
think.
Maddie, she does basketball, and then Jocelyn is the oldest. She works quite a bit. She's in school. She works a lot.
Yeah.
So she's active.
We
they're
get
all
the hours down at Sprouts.
Oh yeah, she likes it.
Well,
she likes.
How old is Jocelyn?
17.
Yeah, and she's a night manager at Sprouts.
Oh, yeah.
Shows you a testament of how
Oh, yeah.
well Josh's
Parenting
kids are.
skills.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she controls. I mean,
She
most
loves
of the
being
people
in
the
charge.
building are older than her.
She loves being in charge.
Well,
Hey, if
it
that's what
helps
she
us
loves,
out a ton.
That's what she loves. Let her run with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great.
I asked just because you're a role model for your children. Obviously, they see how busy and committed you are to all the things in their lives and your life as well. I mean, I know Harrison comes around a little bit, and Evelyn, they come when you stop in the gym. Don't really see the older two as much because they're doing things. And, I mean, teenagers, it is what it is. But I think it's super important that they are active. I mean, I don't think we could stress enough that kids should at least, like, you don't have to play sports, but, like, go outside and do stuff.
Yep.
Like, don't just sit on that computer all day. I mean, inside, there's value to some of that stuff. Some people love whatever, but it's just being active from an early age got me into what I like, which is what got me to CrossFit.
Right.
I mean, same with you. We were all
100%.
playing release outside, you know.
Red Rover.
It's a good game. Red Rover. We call Josh Platts over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you break?
We played kick the can
Kick the can's a good one.
in the dark.
Can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
But just transitioning to how your kids are doing things and keeping them active, I think is just a testament to seeing their parents do things. So you, in general, I mean, you're a super busy guy, but you still make time to come to the gym.
Yep.
And I'm sure they do notice that for sure.
They do, and they love coming here with me. Sometimes I sneak out of the house, without them.
But alone time? No way.
But if I was coming down here on a Sunday afternoon or something, definitely Evelyn and Harrison would probably be tagging along and just
Swinging on that rope.
swinging on the rope,
Yeah.
running around, doing their thing. So, and then when we did the kids class 2 years ago, 2020,
Yep.
yeah, they really
Enjoyed
enjoyed.
COVID year.
No, it was
Post,
COVID.
because
It was post.
It was like
yeah,
post during.
Yeah.
It was more during,
Yeah,
I guess, just because
But like
we
after,
needed to.
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
Not like immediately.
February 21, I think, is
Oh, yeah,
when we
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and we did it in the winter months, and and it was good, and they like coming down here for it.
I mean, kids in general
so,
neat that. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Oh,
is why I
100%.
think you guys
Get them
started
moving.
doing it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so they were coming down here. They just, they love moving, so it's good. And Madeline, this weekend we have our second bike trip coming up
Oh yeah.
with the group here, and we got 100 miles, I think, ahead of us. And she's coming with me, so she did the last.
She's doing it again.
Yep,
That's awesome.
she
That
did
is
the
awesome.
last one.
Or-
Last bike trip we did 130 miles. This one's not as much. It's a little under 100. So she's active too. Just in her own way. So, but yeah, I mean I don't know. I think they see me coming down here, and they see, for me, it's just do something. Like, and look, I'm a big Netflix binge watcher. I mean, I watched Cobra Kai
House of
the
Dragons
entire.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the whole 5th season of Cobra Kai in one night. So
Yeah.
I'm a big. When I sit down to relax, it's usually late at night.
you
when
need that definitely.
100%. And so I'm a big avid, relax, watch your TV, do whatever. I mean, whatever you need to do to
Your
relax and
downtime.
just
Yeah.
stop moving.
Yeah. Important.
But I usually don't sit until 9 o'clock at night. I'm usually.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and everybody's different. So
Sure.
it's what works for me. So it's just that's the way I've always been. So
So I mean, this guy's doing all these things, busy, doesn't sit down until 9 at night, but he still makes it a point to come to the gym, do things like the bike trip, which is just something that is a couple things. So you include members from the gym, so it's like a social thing, something to do that's active with people that enjoy just being active, doing things together. It's not a serious thing. It's not
Right.
for time, but CrossFit allows you to create those relationships within the gym, within classes, but also being able to do that, being
Yep.
fit, having that fitness to do things that you want to do in life. So
Right.
going on a cool bike ride across 100 miles is something that's just pretty cool. It's just encompassed in what CrossFit is all about. I'm not saying that bike riding is CrossFit. It's a component of it.
Oh yeah.
You see that more and more over the games and stuff over the years. But it's just doing stuff that's like overall, what's your fitness? And
Right.
you're able to bike 100 miles because you come to the gym and you do these
Right.
things. And we just so happen to do CrossFit, but that
Yep.
could be across the board, any type of fitness. Doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing something, like you said.
right.
And I think that's cool that your kids want to do it. That your kids want to come here and just swing on the rope. I mean,
Yeah.
I was swinging on vines in the woods and stuff when I was growing up. So, just cool to see from an early age children interested in that stuff. I think it's super
Yeah.
important for just everything in life, mental, like physical, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. My son and I were somewhere. I don't remember where we were, what we were doing, but I just remember whoever we were with was trying to lift something, and he went, "You're lifting wrong. You're not doing it right." And he walked over and he lifted it, kind of like doing a deadlift. I mean, he was like in perfect form, and whatever it was, he just lifted it up, and I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty sweet." Like,
that fires me
he
up.
learned that here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that
he
fires
didn't.
me up.
Amazing.
You know,
It's
but whoever it was that was trying to lift that object, he was able to say, "Well, you're not doing it right. That's why you can't lift it." You
Yeah.
know, and he just walked right over and just
That's so
lifted it
awesome.
up. You know,
That's
so I
amazing.
mean, it was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
but-
as a parent, I'm sure
proud
that's
dad
Yeah.
moment.
yeah,
That's
definitely proud of that moment. But also
awesome.
just like a kid knowing like the proper form,
right.
how to pick something up
It's so
at that age.
crucial.
I mean, how
Yeah.
old is Harrison?
9.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
It's
like
gonna
what
prevent injury for so long.
That's
in
like
life.
the
Just
goal, like,
that
yeah.
functionality is just awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's sad that kids don't get that taught to them. Just like, I mean, everyone should know how to deadlift. Everyone should know how to squat.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's those two basic movements of life,
Yeah, the
and you do
foundational
it every
movements.
day without realizing it. So it's just, I wish it was implemented more in younger kids, but it's awesome to see how it can help out at that young age, just like that example. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a cool thing to hear as a person too. Not necessarily a dad or a coach, but just like in general, like at least something's going right. Everything's not like the world's not ending just yet, you know.
Right.
Kids are still learning and having fun with that kind of stuff, but like you said, just setting yourself up to prevent injury for the rest of your life, hopefully, like at that early of an age, is just a cool thing to hear. I mean, like you said, foundational movement of squatting, sitting on a chair, sitting on a toilet, whatever, deadlifting, picking something up off the floor. Like, how foundational are those movements? Probably the most foundational movements known to man.
Right.
And then pressing overhead, something like that.
Yeah.
So just putting something on the top shelf. We've been doing that a lot lately.
And it seems so simple when you're all of our ages right now. But as you get into those later years, that's where things can go bad. And if you don't have that like functionality, and that's why people should lift their whole lives. I mean, they're like, oh, I'm too old for CrossFit. It's like, no, you're not too old for CrossFit. This is for life. Like, I plan on doing this until pretty much I physically can't. And hopefully that I do this so much that physically I'm doing it forever until I, just taken away.
Fade off into the sunset.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Keep it coming, keep it coming.
yeah.
But honestly, though.
And it's how you see is when you get later in those years, those injuries happen because they don't have that functionality, and then that's when things go south. Broken hips, broken shoulders, and then next thing you know, that's what leads you to that hospital bed, and then that's when you don't get out of the hospital and you go into assisted care living and stuff like that. So this just prevents that and keeps you functional longer. You get to play longer with your kids, which is an amazing thing, and you just can live longer. I mean, it's just having that in your lifestyle is a blessing. So I'm happy to be able to have that in my lifestyle now and share it with everyone that I can. So hopefully it keeps going that way as it's spreading from Harrison's age all the way up until,
Beautifully said,
Yeah.
Kurt. Beautifully said. Super important, though, to just make sure that is highlighted for sure, because that is what CrossFit is. Like, people, this is going to be a huge point of the show, so you might as well get used to it. Debunking the bad things that people think about CrossFit. So like that, CrossFit is programmed designed for us coaches to teach that to people. How to squat properly, how to deadlift properly, how to do everything safe and effective, so you're able to use that for the rest of your life. And like people for like you and myself and Lee at the gym who take CrossFit like seriously, like, from a competitive standpoint, once we get done with that, we can transition into making it more of a lifestyle thing.
Yes.
We even do that now sometimes, where we just like take some months where we're just like, I just need to get a workout, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
It's almost been the past 2 months of my life.
Yeah, same. It does. I mean, that's why it's so awesome, because like once you want to dial it in from a competitive standpoint, you could dive in even further. But then if you want to back off, you can just do it as a lifestyle thing. It's the most encompassing form of fitness, I think, across the board, just everything included. Again, not to say that other things aren't, but just having that knowledge as a whole is why I think CrossFit is super cool to have people in their lives, or have in people's lives for sure. And you're just a testament to that. Just being who you are, all the stuff you have going on, you still make time to get in here and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Having that mindset of no ego. So you touched on earlier.
Amazing.
Yeah. You touched on earlier where you might not be able to do the RX weight, but who cares? You're still doing weight. It's better than not doing anything.
Right.
So you have to just get past that. And I mean, it seems like you are. I mean, everyone has an ego at some point, but who cares? Like, you're still working out.
Right.
The weight does not matter.
No.
The only time it matters in a competitive standpoint, when you're like, this is the weight that you're competing with. But that's, again, a small population of CrossFit.
Right.
So, which is why I think it all ties together, just with you as a member and most of the members here that just do this from a lifestyle standpoint. And I think this was a really cool episode to highlight that people should definitely listen to. I mean, just 100%. From you as a person, a human being, but also your CrossFit, your fitness, everything you're doing. So we appreciate you. I know can't think of the proper words to thank him enough.
I owe Josh my next kid.
I'm sure he wants another one.
I'll tell you what. I could give you one of mine.
Is that the trade?
At least.
I don't think that's how it went, but sure.
Maybe I'll keep them, but I'll send you the bills that go with them.
Fair.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, this is a fantastic episode, in my opinion. Just seeing who you are, people to get to kind of know you that don't really know you, behind the scenes guy. But it's important for people to see, like, why CrossFit and why Aurelius is the way it is.
Yep.
Josh Platts.
That's, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Humble guy.
No kidding.
So, like, we did this last week, and I think it'll be kind of a theme for sure to kind of end the episode with something that positive that happened in each of our lives this week.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be fitness related, CrossFit related. It'll be tailored to that just because Kurt and I see that on a daily basis, which is cool. But it could be anything. So if anything happened in your week this last week that you thought was positive, it doesn't have to be anything monumental, but we'll kind of go around and share one each and go ahead.
Sounds good. So for me, I would say, I mean, this past week has kind of been a little bit of a groundhog week for me, just kind of like repetitive from the week before. So I would say my positive would be in the future. You know, I'm really looking forward to the bike trip this weekend and
Absolutely.
hanging out with, you know, the group from here, doing those 100 miles. I know everybody that's on that group is excited to just spend the weekend. And I mean, we're really going to be like in the woods on a rail trail, you know, for 100 miles.
Is it the same route as last time?
It's a different route, but it's on the same trail.
Okay.
So it's another section that we're
Okay.
doing. So
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Some new stuff, but also
yep.
same
So we're
vicinity.
just chipping away at the Gap Trail. You know, the next one we do, we'll finish off. We'll actually end in Cumberland, Maryland. So we'll actually finish out PA and we'll end up in Maryland. So
Awesome.
so yeah, it's been fun. So I would say positive. I'm just happy people are coming with me. You know, because it would be me and Madeline doing it by ourselves, and which is cool. You know, happy happy that she's there. Grateful that she's coming. But, you know, I think things are more fun when there's a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just enjoy each other's company better. And so I'm just kind of looking forward to, you know, having that, you know, 2 solid days with people from the gym, to,
Good people,
you know,
that
my friends. And,
like-minded individuals, which is what we like to try and keep around us for sure.
Yep. So that would be mine.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Curdy, what do you got?
So, I love golf. I love golf.
Yeah, sweet.
My father-in-law probably shot his best round this weekend, and it was awesome to see. He's been working out and rowing in here. And
Oh, nice.
Like
Yeah, it's been.
He's like,
yeah,
I might be hitting the ball a little farther. I might be turning a little better.
Imagine that CrossFit
Putting my
applying
hips
to life,
into the
huh?
ball a little better. So it was awesome to see the little transition from. He just really started golfing a lot again this year. And I golfed with him at the beginning of the year, and now we're at the end of the year. He's thrown in a little bit of fitness. So it was really cool to see that progress in his golf game, just from having a little bit more of an active lifestyle.
Nice.
Imagine that CrossFit carrying over into something he wants to get more involved in.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I see a theme. I see a theme.
Right.
That's wild.
I see a theme, guys.
Awesome.
Right.
2 good ones. I'll kind of do personal and in the gym. I kind of have one that happened yesterday from the gym. Nothing too crazy, but the lesser half of Amanda Bell, obviously Pat Bell. Sorry, Pat.
We love you, Steve.
He's been working on his snatches real well, like dialing in on them. And yesterday was one of the best snatch days I've ever seen him have. Olympic lifting. Every Saturday morning we have Olympic lifting here at Aurelius. Just something I like coaching, and it was cool to kind of see things start to click a little bit, from mobility, from positioning, all this stuff. He just felt like it was a good day. Like, it was probably the best days I've seen him. He was super light, nothing crazy, but that's the point of the Olympic lifting classes here. We're not telling you to go heavy ever. I mean, maybe once a blue moon I'll be like, go for a heavy such and such when I feel like we're doing all right. But it's more tailored to the technical stuff and getting better and being more knowledgeable and moving better safely, all that stuff. So, like, that's, like, people need to understand that's, like, crucial. You need those days. It's not always going heavy. Like, very rarely is it going heavy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and place for it, but 95% of the time I'm having these people technical, light, super. I want good quality reps. So his snatches were probably the best I've ever seen him do. So shout out to Pat Bell for really working at them. That's just a testament to his hard work, and we love to see it. That's a gym one. And then just personally, just from the first week dropping episode, Pros with Con, positive feedback across the board. I mean, I'm sure most people wouldn't like, oh, it was garbage. I mean, if it is, if you think so, I don't care, whatever.
Tell us.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Let's make it better.
But just overall, it was cool to see a lot of people sharing at the gym. A lot of people tuning in and just seeing the behind the scenes of stuff we want to talk about. I mean, I was blown away, for lack of a better word, just to see the support. This is why I wanted to get it out there, because I think it's important to have these conversations and for people to hear it and relate to us, kind of see what we talk about and things we do. And I just, people need to be highlighted, and Josh Platts is one of them. This is kind of the whole
100%.
synopsis.
Big highlight.
Synopsis of
You
I used that word
gotta start
last
reading.
week like
Yeah.
7 times.
did. He always has these big words. I'm like,
I'm
I gotta
gonna
start reading my
yeah.
dictionary.
Episode 1
that.
is a drinking game. Every
I
time Nick says
Yeah,
synopsis.
right, there we go.
I said it once.
You're gonna be drunk.
I said it one time today, but it was a full circle moment.
Great word.
Love it.
But no, in all seriousness, just the whole idea of the show is to have pros, people on here that I consider, or we consider, just individuals who are like-minded and understand the greater thing and the greater, whatever you want to call it, aspect of everything we do, and this is just one of them. So I'm excited to have more people on that kind of show that and live by that, and Josh Platts is no exception to that. So it was cool to get you on here, but overall the first week was just awesome experience. I mean, I was like excited on Thursday morning to get it out there. I was like at work and I was like trying to work, but I was trying to get this with Josh. Me and him were going back and forth, so it was just
Yeah.
cool to kind of see that. So
It was pretty nerve-wracking that first. Would it take 30 minutes for everything to?
not like on some of them too. It was like most of them were fine, but then a couple of them I was like, I had to get them out there, just people, because they were like, I'm like,
Well, we
9 a.m.,
sent
we're
we
still-
sent we sent
we're
we
still waiting.
sent, we sent the email at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
and it wasn't actually live for 30 minutes after that.
It's
So
all good. We figured it out.
yeah, technical
But-
learning.
They should have been working.
learning
anyway.
curve.
People shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
waiting
that's
for
right.
9
Go back to work at 9
Thursday
a.m. on a
9, you should be
Thursday.
working.
I mean, come on, guys.
Listen to it on your lunch break.
yeah, but
Now
I mean,
listen to it whenever you want, multiple times, please.
just keep sharing, share, like,
Yeah.
hit that like button, subscribe, whatever you want to do. No, but it was awesome to see that, and I was just kind of felt very grateful that people took the time to actually listen and share it and listen to just good quality conversations with Kurt and myself, and then this one's going to be a great one for people to hear as well, and I'm excited to get it out. So just, that's how I wanted to kind of wrap up these episodes, just something cool, positive. Doesn't have to be life, fitness, it could be everything, doesn't really matter, but yeah, we appreciate you, Josh, very
Awesome.
much.
Thanks for
Super
having me.
grateful,
Oh,
and
Of
I'm
course.
sure you'll be back at some point whenever you're not traveling to
You know where to find me.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. So
Absolutely.
cool.
Thank you guys. Thanks for listening.
Later. You have been listening to the Pros with Con podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. Come back each week for a new episode. Thanks for listening.